Welcome back to Access Anime. I'm Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough and review of Btooom Episode 5. Now, if you remember from last episode, we're introduced to a new character. His name is Kira. He's 14, and he has a really sick past, in my opinion. He killed 3 women and then raped them. Again, he had larceny, and he was also a pickpocket. He had a really horrible past. And again, we are introduced to his father and his lawyer. Now, they're also contestants on the island, so that's interesting. But his father was short-lived. His dad was killed by Kira. So it was kind of funny. But let me get a little more into the last episode, just a little more. Again, it's Kira versus Sakamoto at the end of the episode. And Sakamoto is the victor. He actually beats Kira, ties him up, and puts a Snickers candy bar at the end, like on the ground for him. He takes Kira's his bombs, his BIMs, and his food from the cargo planes, all those supplies. He took them as well. And we're also introduced, I want to say, to the lawyer, but the lawyer got away, so he's still alive. So we don't know a lot about the lawyer. I should point out, Tierra, he actually has been taking crystals off of every single dead corpse he's come across and still has the crystals. So he took the crystal from Kira's father, so it's kind of interesting. But that was last episode. This is a new episode, so let's dive right in. And again, I'll keep my comment and my rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned, but let's dive right in. We open up this episode kind of different. To be honest, it was a waste of time to watch it. It was just a general catch-up and a brief flashback of all the previous episodes, so somewhat a waste of time. But if you move past that, it gets a little interesting. We have Sakamoto and Tierra. They're eating ramen. That's right, they've grouped back up together. They're eating food. I guess they're checking their supplies. And I guess out of nowhere, a corpse ends up coming down the waterfall and right in front of them. And Tierra notices it, Sakamoto notices it, and it's a dead body with no pants. Can you guess who the dead body is? Any takers? It's Ikichi. If you remember correctly, Ikichi was the one that was about to rape Himiko, and Himiko, she threw her bomb, and we see Ikichi falling off the mountain. Well, my assumptions were almost dead on. He is dead. I said he looked like he should be dead, and he's dead. Now, at this point, we do not know if he has his crystal on him. I would have assumed Himiko would have took it from him, but no, he was still alive just before he got blown off the bridge, or I should say the mountain, so the crystal was still embedded on him, so he still has his crystal. But his bombs are gone, as well as any type of kits he had on him. They're gone. Himiko has them now. But again, it's Ikichi's body. And I guess Sakamoto puts 2 and 2 together, and he figures someone's up at that mountain. Someone's up on that waterfall, up yonder, killing people, so he's going to go check it out. But he tells Tierra, you need to stay behind. You've got a bum leg, you can't follow me. And Tierra's like, just go on without me, man. This guy's really nice. He's a great teammate to have. But there's always a catch with these guys. Just before you think everything's too good to be true, the obvious happens, and he's gonna take everyone. Take his first chance to get the hell off the island. So I think he's gonna break. But that's my assumption. But anyways, I digress. Let me keep going. We see Sakamoto leaving at Tierra. He now has the extra bag of supplies that Sakamoto gave him, and he's trying to hide. Now, while he's hiding, he ends up taking Ikichi's crystal. Like I told you before, Tierra takes crystals from dead bodies. So now he's got 3 out of 8 crystals. Now at the end of this walkthrough and review, we're going to do a walkthrough of who's got what crystals. You'll be shocked. Or maybe not if you're keeping up to date on that. But anyways, moving on. We see Sakamoto. He leaves Tierra. And again, he does a little update on all of his bombs he has. He's got 2 crackers and 2 timers. That's what he currently has left of his own personal effects on bombs. But he also took Kira's bombs and personal effects. So he has 3 implosions and 4 crackers. So he's got a pretty good assortment. Now, he's telling himself he's not going to tell Tierra because we do not know where Tierra stands right now and what he could do if he knew this kind of information. Because remember, Tierra still has all his bombs. In fact, we don't even know how many he's used. So he could still have all of his bombs. But anyways, he's going to hide that information from Tierra. And again, we see Tiara taking the crystal off of Kichi's dead corpse. But when we move past that scene, we actually get to see Sakamoto. He runs into another corpse. It has no crystal on it, so he notices it has no crystal. Now, I believe this body is Azume's body. Azume. If you remember Azume, he was that, I believe, the teacher at one of the beginning of the episode. I think the second or first episode. He was the one that was with Himiko and Akichi. And remember, he died. He was killed by Masashi. But that, I'm assuming that's his dead corpse, because it looks a lot like him from the shadow, kind of. But, you know, I could be jumping to conclusions, but it looks like Azume. And again, he's missing a crystal. Now, instantly, Sakamoto uses his radar to detect someone, to see if someone else was around him. Because, you know, it's too good to be true. You see a dead corpse with a missing crystal, and then a body coming down the waterfall. Someone's got to be killing. So, he uses his radar. A no-go. He's got nothing. But he notices Himiko. He can see a girl, Himiko. So he starts approaching her, and it looks like he was trying to talk to her. Something, this is the same girl he saw, the other day that hates men, and she instantly throws bombs. Before he can talk to her, he notices she's thrown a bomb, because she notices someone's got to be around, because she notices something. I think she might notice she was pinged by the radar. So she throws her bomb, and it's that gas bomb. Goes everywhere, and Sakamoto's running like crazy because he notices it's like a poison type bomb. And he just barely makes it, and he notices Himiko's like right in front of him. And Himiko lures Sakamoto out kind of by doing that little trap. I think that was her plan, but she's got terrible aim, man. I have to point that out. And she's listening to Sakamoto because they start talking, and she starts listening, so she drops her guard. And then Sakamoto starts to get closer because he says, just drop your bombs, just, listen. She had her bomb ready to throw, and she listens to him. She shuts it off, and he starts to get closer. And then she's like, yeah, all men are scum. She puts it back on, and she throws it at him. But again, she has terrible aim, and Sakamoto manages to dodge it, so now he's safe. But the thing is, now we're doing close combat, and as you remember, Himiko, she actually has a taser, so she tries tasering Sakamoto, but she ends up hitting his aluminum bag or case, and it shocks her. So that's the irony. I'm like, I kind of wanted her to get her ass handed to her to a point, because she's been so cocky with guys for scum. I'm like, I know a lot's happened to you, and you're almost raped more than twice within this series. But I mean, if you only knew who Sakamoto really was, he's that guy that you met online, and possibly, I presume these two people are married online, because remember, Sakamoto in one of the previous episodes said he was married online to a girl. We don't know if that's her or not. But, this is all very ironic what's happening, because they don't know each other's identity just yet. And, again, you see Himiko, she's passed out now. And this is kind of a funny scene, now she's laying right on top of Sakamoto, and then eventually, he gets off, pulls her bombs away, because if she wakes up, that's the first thing she's going to do is grab the bombs. And he was this close to actually lifting her skirt up and, taking her panties off or something. And he just put it down real quick before she knows. He's like, no, that was a close one. But I'm glad he didn't do that, because he looks like a good person so far in this series, even though he's been bad to his parents. But again, we're moving past that. He now has Himiko in his arms. He's walking. He's like, it's okay. I'm not going to do anything stupid. And she kind of freaks out, but her arms are kind of limp because she was just stunned. But she manages to pull out her bomb. And before, she's like, if I'm going to go, I'm going to make sure my virtue's been saved. So I'm going to take you with me. Just like she did with Akichi up on the mountaintop before he ran away. But Sakamoto ends up shutting it off, and he has like a couple seconds left. Now, the next scene after that, we actually get to see Himiko eating, I guess, ramen with Tiara and Sakamoto at a campfire. So she's now with the group, and they're starting to talk more. And she actually ends up telling them, I actually know how I was chosen to be put on this island. And it was kind of curious, and everyone's like, well, how do you know? And we don't know, because we were just, randomly picked. apparently Himiko's friend, the one that was raped, as well as her friends, each one of her friends that were raped picked her. They were the ones that picked her on a piece of paper to be chosen to be put on this island, so she saw this coming. Now, Sakamoto ends up putting 2 and 2 together. You know, it adds up why he's on the island, his mother. And we do a flashback. I guess it's like not his flashback, but of something that's relevant to the series. It pops up and we get to see his mom signing a piece of paper and a little more about his father, I guess. Now, apparently Sakamoto doesn't have a real dad. He has a stepfather. And his mother is seen committing suicide after, I guess, she signed her son away to join this game on this island. She commits suicide, or attempts to. Her wrist is slashed. She's in the bathroom, and we find out Sakamoto's stepfather is laid off, and he's been, I guess, Sakamoto's been treating his mom and his stepfather pretty bad. That's one of the many reasons why she ended up signing him to this game. But again, his stepfather arrived just in time to save his mother, and you know, the husband and wife are now okay. So we know a little more about Sakamoto's background and who actually signed him up. So he's having these little light nightmares about his mom signing up for this game, so it's kind of sad. Now, apparently Sakamoto notices something moving around in the background, so he mentions it, and then he uses his radar to, you know, ping whoever's around him, but, you know, no one appears. And this is kind of interesting. They're being attacked, the whole group, Tiara, Sakamoto, and Himiko, they're being attacked by giant lizards. Now, if they can kill them, they'll have like a couple days worth of meat supply if you want to eat lizard, of course, but they haven't done anything yet. They're just running, or at least it looks like they're about to run. But that's where the episode ended, but just before it ended, Tiara does a brief, I guess, he tries to remember, well, if people can sign us up to be put on this island, I have a pretty good idea who might have sent me on this island. I pissed one of my customers off like about 2 months ago or something like that, and he probably put me on this island, or that person put me on this island, because I've been good with my family. I'm really good with my family. They like me. But as for work, I'm guessing he's a douchebag. But that's where the episode ends. We see them with the lizards. Now, final thoughts? No, actually, before final thoughts, I did promise you guys something. The crystals. Now, between the 3 of them, Sakamoto, remember he said, I forget which episode he said he took the guy he first beat when he first came on the island. That's 1 crystal. Now, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have that crystal, but right now we're assuming he has that crystal, so counting his crystal, that's 2 crystals. So we've got 2 on the board. Now, Tiara has 3 crystals. He took 2 off dead bodies, and he has his own, so that's 3. So if you do the math, we're up to 5 crystals. Now, Himiko, she's got a crystal, her own. Now, I'm pretty sure she didn't take any of the crystals off of any of the dead bodies so far, because Ikichi's crystal belongs to Tiara now, and Kira's father's crystal belongs to Tiara now. So we're up to 6 crystals. If you count it, we have 6 crystals within the group, so if Tiara wants to flip, he's got 6 crystals. He just needs 2 more to get off the island. So that's where we're at on the crystals. But you know, it doesn't make sense why Sakamoto didn't take a crystal off of Kira since he's still alive. But you know, leaving him tied up like that on an island, he's probably going to die eventually, but since he's already a born killer, both on the island and off, Kira might get away with something. But that's where we're at, 6 crystals. Now, on to the final thoughts. I would like to know a little more of, I guess, Tiara's background, because he said he's a good family member, you know, good with his family, but he's, you know, not so good work-wise, and he's into real estate. So I'm wondering, is he going to have a flip switch? Is he going to become the next villain, since now there are 6 crystals within the group? Just putting it out there. Also, Oda, where are you? Come on, you're going to jump out eventually. And also, Masashi. I mean, you killed Izumi. That's all we know so far. And you were trying to go after Himiko and Ikichi, but you failed at that, obviously. So that's another character I'd like to know. But reading the manga-wise, because I did do a little jump in the manga, apparently Masashi does die. Just a little spoiler alert, he does die, but I'm not sure by who. I kind of forgot that. But that ends it for my final thoughts. Not too much out there, but just a little. As for my rating, yeah, of course I was a little depressed. I mean, you had a lot of potential battle scenes and an emotional grip between Sakamoto and Himiko. So I have to give this a 3.5 out of 5. I mean, last episode was a great battle. I was kind of happy with what I saw. Not so much as, a 14-year-old who, first killed 3 women, then raped 3 women. Knowing that kind of past kind of disturbed me. But the battle scene was worth it. With this episode, not so much. We didn't really get introduced to new characters, but we get a little more information. But again, 3.5 out of 5. So final rating is 3.5 out of 5. And that ends it for my review and walkthrough of Btooom episode 5. Now, I have one more walkthrough and review to do for today, so definitely stay tuned. But that ends it for now. Before I go, I gotta say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.